You're probably wondering how I got here. The truth is, the game was rigged from the start. Part of it is me messing around because I'm a bit bored. It's also partly this. But more than anything, this is to blame for the box on my head. A natural interface is one that allows a player to feel a sequitur connection between their button presses and what occurs as a result. Without it, research by Breyer Felipe et al. Indicates the player will simply choose the path of least resistance. This is not my attempt at a new any % speedrun. I'm simply disconnected from what's on screen and trying to get through it easily. Here, like most of Stray, the trusty right trigger A button combo is sufficient for anything it has to throw at me. Stray developers, I think you've made a nice kitty cat simulator. It's just suffering a bit from an unnatural interface. This leads to speculation being hampered, and ultimately, catharsis is interrupted. In designing a one-size-fits-all interface, it's harder to enjoy either the walking sim or puzzle portions of Stray. Stray wants to live in two worlds, one that straps the player in for a journey, and another that requires the player to be an active participant in that journey. There's nothing wrong with walking simulators. They do what they say on the tin. However, they are not inherently puzzle games. We interface with games, obviously to play them, but what is happening under the hood? We are speculating, and speculation is what drives us forward. To experience more of the game world, to determine a puzzle solution, or even to avoid those things. It might seem silly, but it's the core to every "I wonder if X will cause a reaction." Even one like, "I wonder how long I can keep this box on my head," or "What'll happen if I try to steal this jacket right in front of the shopkeep?" Real quick, let's define speculation. Not in the vein of Columbo, but here in the academic video game focus sense. In The Click of a Button, Video Games and the Mechanics of Speculation, our author Kunzelman waxes poetic about the why behind our motivations to interact with video games. To define speculation, I think he says it best. We speculate by both pursuing and deferring the future to, quote, ground, instantiate, and trouble the relationship that we have with possible future events. Practically, we know what's happened, but can only guess at what might come next, and so must interact or avoid doing so to intentionally seek out or ignore whatever that future might hold for our character. Here, my disconnect from speculation is clear. I couldn't be less concerned by the drones because they're not a challenge, they're an obstacle. Right trigger A button is all I need. Stray suffers because it attempts to marry a walking sim to a puzzle game without fully appreciating the difference in interface between them that fosters speculation. Not to say that they're entirely mutually exclusive, but their design is dissimilar and doesn't work when sloppily conflated. Stray demonstrates its talent for natural interface by using the left trigger right trigger scratch mechanic to reveal puzzle progress. So satisfying, at least when it's used for something other than, look it, the game cat does real cat things. The subtle, cathartic experience of finding the box in Clem's place after retrieving the battery is missed when scratching at the dozens of interactable spots, and it does nothing. Stray is a sweet game that lets me play as a cute critter, but it also suffers from an identity crisis. Speculation is critical to the innately individual experience we have with games. However, Stray ends up feeling lukewarm, as I found myself speculating more on what to avoid because it wouldn't help me progress. In Stray, the puzzles don't offer a reprieve from monotony because the surrounding content isn't monotonous. The portions spent exploring the slums, the sewers, the voyage and sightseeing is plenty for the goal of setting up Stray's argument. To that end, the puzzles feel more non sequitur than anything. I think Stray could have set itself apart by choosing to design for either a walking sim or a puzzle game and fully connecting the interface to either. For your next project, Stray devs, bring us an interface that can solve puzzles or one that explores the world, and don't worry about trying to do both with an omni-button design.